Hey guys, JD Tinker here with another product review, and I'm tired of sweating it out in my garage or out in the workshop or out in the yard or wherever else. Needed something portable to keep me cool, and so since I'm already bought into the Ego ecosystem, I picked up this 10-inch oscillating misting fan. I already got the batteries and the chargers and everything, so I didn't need to get those. As you can see, it's tool only. But I thought maybe I'd show it to you and see if it's something that maybe you guys could also use as well. So I'm going to do some unboxing and then we're going to check it out. Okay, here's what you get. You get the fan and you get an instruction manual, and that's pretty much it. Again, you can buy it with a battery and a charger. I didn't need to, but let's get a closer look here. Overall, looks like typical Ego quality, which is on the higher side, I think. It doesn't feel cheap at all. Buttons and such, they are standard of Ego type material and feel and all that. And you can see here, there's the mister. There's a mister over here, so when you hit that button, and I'm going to show you how that happens later, the water comes out. Pretty cool, right? Here it is back here. All right, that's where the battery goes right there. And then on the bottom side, let's just tip it over here. That's where you got this tube right here, and then right there's the filter for any water source, and then it also has an adapter right there, so you can take this filter off, put this adapter on the tube, and then you can hook a garden hose up to it. Pretty slick. And what I like the most about this is that you can see this design right here. It goes all the way around. That allows you to do this. You can put it on any 5-gallon bucket and use that as the base and put that tube right into the bucket full of water. Pretty cool. Now they say that it can generate up to 1700 CFM of air, and it can run for 60 hours on the lowest setting on a 5 amp hour battery. So that means if you've got like a 10 amp hour battery from the Z6 that I have, I can run this thing for 5 days on the lowest setting. Not bad. Let's get a battery charged up and get it in here and see how it works. Got a 4 amp here handy. One thing I just noticed, the release for the battery is huge. You don't have to fish to find it. Okay, the battery's in. Let's hit the power button. Well, on the lowest setting that can run for 5 days on a 10 amp hour battery, yeah, it's kind of there. It gives you a gentle breeze, but that's pretty much it. Let's crank this thing up. Okay, so there's 5 settings. I don't know if you can hear that or not. 5 settings plus the turbo. Yeah, I think it's moving pretty good, and the fact that it's brushless, it's overall very, very quiet. Let's hit that turbo button. It's really cooking. You really feel it. And then this here controls the oscillator. Let me turn this back down so it's not blowing your eardrums out. That right there controls the oscillation. You can see it's rotating. I wonder if it changes oscillation speed with the fan speed. I don't know. I didn't read the manual that far, but this changes how wide the oscillation goes. Oh, you see it's doing like a 180. That's a nice touch. When you turn off the oscillation, it returns to center. So while I was testing this out, I got thinking about something. The Ego website says that this moves up to 1,700 cubic feet of air per minute. Now, I don't know about you, but I really don't know how much 1,700 cubic feet of air actually is. But it also says up to 20 miles per hour. Well, we're going to test that. I've got this wind speed meter. I'm going to put it on miles per hour. And I'm going to put it on so it records the maximum air that it moves. And we're going to start with the lowest setting. 4.5 miles per hour. 7.2 miles per hour. 9.1. Up to 4 bars now. 13.1. 15.3. And on turbo. All right, let's see what it reads. 19.7, so awfully close. Now, I don't know what Ego's testing methods are. I'm sure they're better than what I have here, and I'm sure that you're not going to be right up against the grill every time you use it, but at least their marketing claims are pretty close, at least according to my tests. So now, let's get some water in this bucket and see how the misting function works. Okay, here we go. Can you hear the pump running? And, oh, there we go. I don't know if you can see that or not. So I hope you can see that. If you can't, well, you just got to take my word for it that when there's 3 lights lit up, heavy misting. 2 is light misting, continuous. And then when there's 1, it's on for 10 seconds. And then off for 10 seconds. And then it'll continue to cycle through that. I mentioned previously that if you use a 10 amp hour battery on the lowest setting, you can run this thing for 5 days, but that's not exactly practical. I wanted to know how long I could run it on the high setting with the narrowest range of oscillation using the 4 amp hour battery that I've been using so far in this video, because that's pretty much how I'm going to be using it here in this garage. And here's what I found out. With a full 4 amp hour battery, after 1 hour, it still showed as full 5 bars on the battery. After 2 hours, 4 bars. After 3 hours, 3 bars, and I think you know where I'm going to go with this. And then at 6 hours of runtime, it started to blink red, and then it finally ran out of juice at 6 hours and 23 minutes with a 4 amp hour battery. Not bad. So then I got even more curious. We know that a 4 amp hour battery on the high non-turbo setting will last 6 hours and 23 minutes without misting. But what if we put it all on full, everything on full blast? Highest turbo setting, full misting, full oscillation. Well, here's the answer. After 1 hour, the battery indicator went from 5 bars to 4. After 2 hours, the battery showed 3 bars, and that was right about when the bucket was still half full, or half empty, depending on how you like to look at it. After 3 hours, 2 bars, almost empty, and then after 4 hours, the battery was down to 1 bar, and the bucket was empty, so I refilled it, and then after 4.5 hours, that's when it finally ran out of juice. So here's my verdict on this. Overall, it meets my expectations for Ego materials, build quality, design, and features. It works very, very well. You saw the runtime tests. It meets the claims, and it also meets the output claims. I think the downside is that it's a bit pricey at $199, give or take, without a charger or battery. It is on the pricier side, but if you start shopping around for similar products that aren't part of the Ego ecosystem, you're going to have a hard time finding anything under $100 that has this quality and materials. Most things are no name. You never know what kind of build quality they have or safety mechanisms they have in place. And especially if you're talking about electricity and water, it gets a little dicey in my book. So I think the extra cost is worth the bump in quality and peace of mind. The other thing is that I noticed that when I was dropping it, the filter and the hose into a bucket to set this on top of the bucket, sometimes if you're not careful, you're going to pinch the hose on top of the bucket underneath it. You just got to watch out for that. But otherwise, this thing has already come in handy for me. I was out working in the hot sun the other day in my shed, and it was a particularly hot day, and I just grabbed this and slapped a battery in it and set it down and hit the buttons, and it made working in the sun much more bearable. So if you've been thinking about getting one, I hope this review helps. I'll put links to everything in the description below, as always. If it helps you out, well, stay cool this summer. JD Tinker out.